Hello, guys, and welcome down to the Keep You in the Loop podcast. I am Luke from CoasterGen. Today, we are joined by Joe from Theme Park Insanity and Mikhile, who used to be a ride-up all over the globe, and Sean from ParkSpill. You obviously know Sean. His channel's booming at the moment, and he's done a lot of good videos recently, so make sure you check out his channel. Make sure you check out everyone's channel in the podcast tonight. And I hope everybody in the chat is fantastic today. Hope you're all having a good day with all the news as well that's coming out from this week from all the theme park industry. We've got a lot to talk about, and Joe's actually got some information. Actually, first, guys, do you want to say hello to everybody?
Indeed. Well, hello everyone. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a pleasant day.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Yeah.
How's everyone doing?
Hey, good to be here again.
Yeah. So, that was a bit of a rushed intro there. Anyway, Joe, speaking of news from the theme park industry today, would you like to tell us about the opening of Chessington Zoo today?
Certainly can, yeah.
Thank
so, no worries at all. So, as many of you probably will have seen, if you've been watching our page throughout the day, we have been following Theme Park Escape's visit to Chessington. Now, it was the first official day of their zoo-only openings, and we've seen quite a few different changes on resort, as well as a few little bits and pieces that obviously we already kind of knew about. So, just to let you kind of know roughly what those were, the testing station that was on the car park is still there. They've also prepared or started to make preparations to reopen. So that means they've been putting down social distancing markers and various other bits and pieces as well, prepping those rides ready for people to start riding. And the biggest part of it all is that the removal of Ramesses Revenge is well and truly now underway, and the space is opening up, ready for their brand new drop tower, which is set to come to the park next year. So there is lots going on at Chessington, and it's just amazing to see how fast this park is moving forward, not only with current restrictions, but also with a view of a 2021 investment as well. So fantastic to see. Really.
Did I hear you right then? You said the testing centre is still there and they're opening the park.
It certainly is, yeah. So it's actually on the car park where it was before. They're still obviously doing testing, and what they've actually asked them to do is that they're using the side explorers entrance instead. So the main entrance is currently shut, and they're actually sort of sending visitors around to that entrance instead to send them through there. The only other thing worth noting as well is that people that do visit actually do get obviously their temperature checked, and when they do, they get a blue wristband to advise that they've had that done and that they're safe to be on park. So again, that's a really good move by the park. It shows that they're obviously thinking of the welfare of the guests, and obviously it's reassuring for people visiting too. So hopefully we'll see that moving forward.
Is there any news on masks today, Joe?
As far as we're aware, I think it's purely still optional, just as much as it is as towers. Now, obviously, the staff are in full PPE. We did see that from one or two pictures that Theme Park Escape did post. But in terms of people actually on park, it still at the moment looks as if it does remain an optional thing to do.
Okay, well, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. So, you've been reporting on that throughout the day. What do you guys think about that then? Mikhile, let's go to you first. What do you think about Chessington and how they're handling things there?
I think it's definitely a good look for them moving forward. I'll be completely honest, I'm not the most clued up on Chessington, but yeah, I like the direction that I've liked the direction that they've been going in since they redid Tiger Rock. Like it seems like they are investing a lot more in the like quality and authenticity of their themed attractions, while still keeping that primary target of families with young kids in mind as well. So like I like the direction they're going in. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with like Joe said, the new drop tower coming in place of Ramesses in place of Ramesses Revenge and stuff. That's an interesting addition. I like this. I like the sound of it. And I've never been to Chessington. Cool. I've never been to Chessington myself, so no. I might so a visit down there in the next couple of seasons might be on the cards.
Yeah, I'd definitely go because they know their audience. Like we were just talking off air, guys, about how Thorpe Park doesn't know what they're doing with the branding for the last I don't know.
They've not got
10 years. Like they don't know who they're trying to attract. But Chessington has always been family friendly, and like. Unless you count the start where John Warley wanted to make it like the biggest theme park in the UK before he was given a lot of restrictions, and then they bought Thorpe Park's land. But the fact that they know their audience, they know what they want, and I know that Legoland, had they put a drop tower in, or are they going to do one like an extremis drop? I believe they were doing something like a haunted house drop.
I don't think they've done that as of yet, but
it was at Windsor as well. I'm sure it were, which is obviously just up the road. which is a bit of a copy and paste from Merlin, but obviously that does happen sometimes. Within one company, if one thing's going to work, they will try and put it out throughout the rest of the parks.
Yeah.
Sean, what do you think about Chessington?
Well, again, I've got a Merlin pass and I've never been.
You've never been?
No, I've never been.
Not even to ride Vampire.
No. It's been
so underrated.
One of them.
Underrated.
I do need to go there. Get the coaster.
Glad I'm not the only one.
There's a lot of people that haven't been. And we've had a few guests on now that haven't been, and it's
I think it's one of them that if you don't go when you're younger,
maybe
it it'd feel weird if I just went by myself. I'd have to have like Joe with me. Because if I was just going around a kids park, it'd be a bit strange. But I think it's great news. Obviously, they're opening with the zoo. And it's quite good because Towers have just got the gardens, but Chessington have a zoo, so there's the appeal to go there.
Exactly.
But it seems like it's good. It is a bit strange that they still got the test.
That's the only thing that is like putting me off slightly.
That's a bit weird.
I wouldn't go to a shopping center if there was a testing center on the car park for the shopping center. That's the kind of feel I get from it.
People aren't going to the test center just because they feel like a trip out. They're going there because they think mostly they might have something. So it's a bit. Obviously, they're in the car, so I'm sure it'll be safe.
Yeah.
But in terms of, do we know with Chessington, because not all Merlin parks are putting in the sensor, the touchless, what are they called, the touchless dispensers.
Hand sanitizers.
Yeah, hand sanitizers. There we go.
Hand sanitizer station.
Delay. Because not all of them have it, and for me, that's like a must at a park. I think they need to be touchless.
Yeah.
There were some parts in Towers 100%. That weren't touchless, and I'm like,
really?
Yeah.
Wasn't the one by Mutiny Bay that was touchless, wasn't it?
There's a few that are. There's a few that are, but then there's a few that are still like pump, and it's kind of like it's one of them where I guess it doesn't in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter that much. It's just if the newspapers, I've said this all the time, the newspapers love to slate Merlin. They'll always use them as like look at these, look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
But there's also it's not going away from Chessington slightly, but it's kind of relevant. It's the fact that obviously we all saw what was the place called now that opened this week? I can't even remember. What's the cheap clothes place that I never go to?
Primark,
that's it.
Primani.
We all saw that, all the queues for that. But one of my friends made a good point that she's in a wheelchair and they had foot dispensers. So that's the only ones they had, the dispensers with the foot dispensers. So it's by having them, it's not something I would think about. It's it's excluding. It's that sort of thing. So
I know what you mean.
Have to be touchless really to include everyone, I guess.
I mean, the only thing they can do is to not have it be, because obviously they're quite expensive, them machines. I would imagine they're quite expensive because obviously everyone's buying them right now and they're going to be hard to get hold of. But maybe they just give you a bottle of hand sanitization before you go in.
That'd probably be cheaper for them.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, it's like I've been places recently and they're like, "Oh, do you want some?" I said, "I've got some. I've got my own. Yeah, I'll just use my own because I'm using it throughout the day as well." And see, exactly. That's you've got your own. So maybe it is, and it's easy to get hold of now. You can literally walk into any Home Bargains or Poundland and just pick up a bottle of hand sanitizer.
I bet it's being mass produced now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because there was such a shortage. Everyone's gone in the business.
And masks as well. Like masks are everywhere. Like my co-op selling masks. Like when did they get them? They don't even sell DVDs anymore, but they're selling masks now.
In my local like garage petrol station, they were selling hand sanitizer for 25p, like a big bottle of it.
Wow.
And I was just like, well, it was only 2 months ago where some places were selling them for 50 quid for a small bottle.
Oh, it was stupid.
That's
absolutely
mental.
Stupid.
That was, weren't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a weird one really, but I mean, coming back to the hand sanitizer situation, when we was at Orlando, all the parks over there had already had them all around the park. But the problem was, even with Universal and Disney, which they've got the staff, they were still running out constantly. So that's something that the parks have really got to think about, is topping them up.
When were you there? Did you say you were there March?
March
before it all kicked off.
Yeah,
as it kicked off in America then.
It was weird, man, because we wasn't watching the news back home, and then I put it on, and the news was just like, it's here, we've got to stop everything. And then in America, it was like, nah, it's fine. It wasn't on the news ever. And then it was just, we landed, and then 2 days later, the Disney parks and Universal parks closed when we landed. So
we got so
lucky. To say, was it kind of like touch and go whether or not you'd be able to leave the country? Like right when everything started shutting down and everything.
Well, didn't Trump stop everybody else other than UK for about 3 days? That must have been the 3 days he came back.
That was that was like the following Monday. We got back on the Thursday, and that was like the following Monday.
Okay, yes. Wow. that is crazy.
You got lucky there then.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
Very lucky. Fine.
You were talking about sort of, face masks being everywhere. I actually took a trip on the train into Leeds today for the first time.
How was that?
It was interesting, very, very interesting. A lot of the seats were all cordoned off and marked "Do not use," but obviously, you've got to wear face masks on the train. Now, one thing that I didn't notice in Leeds train station is that they were actually giving out the disposable masks free to anybody that basically didn't have them. And obviously, with it being a mandatory thing on public transport, it's really good that they're actually thinking of the people that might not necessarily have one. So it just shows how accessible these are now becoming, and it's it's good to see. Really,
it's good to see. I mean, on public transport, I mean, I could get the train to Towers now, but it obviously is not open. But I could get it. But is it still essential travel only? I don't.
See, it's debatable, isn't it?
It. I don't think it is anymore, is it? I know Sean is
I don't think it is because
didn't he say you can drive as far as you want to do an activity or go somewhere? So what's the difference with getting on a train and doing that?
I was always thinking, oh, sorry, go on, mate.
I was going to say at the end of the day, they're opening up retail now too, and opening up city centres. So it's debatable. Sorry, go on, Sean.
I was thinking all through the lockdown when it was full enforced. I was always thinking, I'm watching the news, but all these people, the paparazzi and the people on the streets with the cameras, how are they getting into central London? Are they driving and paying congestion charge? Or are they? Exactly. Is that essential work? I don't necessarily think that's essential work.
What's to say you can't take a picture of a roller coaster, but they can take a picture of somebody who's not social distancing, right?
Exactly. A weird one.
Oh, I've just seen someone in the chat. Bully for you. You got lucky. We were due to fly out to Orlando on the 3rd of May, which got cancelled. Dude, I'm so sorry. I hope you do get out there. And
definitely.
And I know you added something big that I only found out today from watching the Ride Sims thing, that your wedding got cancelled, right? Got rescheduled.
Yeah,
Sean?
It was meant to be next month. So,
man.
So sorry to hear that.
It's one of them. I said it on the light. Everything happens for a reason. We're just hoping, because it was meant to be 25th of July.
Yeah.
And we're just hoping it rains that day now.
We'll pray for rain. 25th of July. It's gonna rain, damn it.
Exactly. Better rain. But
outside and do a rain dance.
Yes. Exactly.
Yes. Why not? All right, Joe. So you're going to Flamingo Land this weekend, right? For TPI.
I certainly am.
Nice.
Indeed, yep. So we'll be making a trip up on Saturday. We're all booked, we're ready to go. Car's all topped up, and I got a mask. So we'll be setting off nice and early to get up there for about a 10 o'clock opening. We're really looking, obviously, forward to getting back up there. We're going to be looking at the construction of the ride, obviously, from a safe distance as and where we can. We'll be taking plenty of pictures. I've got a decent camera now, so I'll be taking loads of decent pictures throughout the day.
Nice.
And we're also planning on vlogging it as well, using the brand new camera. So again, there also will be a vlog going online, hopefully by Sunday at the latest. Indeed. But we'll also be doing, live updates throughout the day. There'll be plenty of lives from Flamingo Land. There'll be photos, pictures, videos, everything you name it. We'll show you as much as we possibly can do. Not only of obviously how the park's changed, but obviously, sort of what restrictions, etc. they've got in place as well. Just open, up to exactly what they have done in terms of getting ready for the brand new season. So we're really looking forward to getting back there. And even though it's a zoo only day, there's no rides. We just can't wait to get back on park. We really can't. So make sure you tune in for that, guys. Lots to see.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And obviously, so I'm guessing it's just the zoo right now.
That's correct. Yeah. It is.
So I've never been to Flamingo Land, like I keep saying. This year was supposed to be the year with the new coaster as well, which would have been awesome.
Indeed.
But I believe the zoo is like on the back. Is it on like the back right from what I've seen on maps? Like it's quite tucked away from the actual park.
Excuse me. It is, yeah. So it's basically at the top end of the park. Yep. Yep.
Cool.
It's behind the Lost River Shoot the Shoots ride, isn't it?
It is, yeah. There is
just next to it.
It's literally the line enclosure is actually kind of in the middle of that sort of that ride, and then it kind of sort of goes from there up towards the back end of the park.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a sizable zoo. There's a lot to still sort of see and do, even though the rides aren't open, and they've got quite a wide variety of animals there as well. So it should be a really good day, hopefully, all being well.
Yeah. So just going to tell you guys in the chat, we are running a lower latency podcast today. So hopefully when we ask for a question, you'll give us one. So yeah, get some questions coming in. We're going to cover some more topics now that are in the news. Well, the British Association of Leisure Parks, Piers and Attractions, it's a bit of a doom and gloom podcast to start with, to be honest with you guys, has warned that the UK attractions and hospitality industry are in danger of collapsing if government restrictions on reopening are not relaxed. Now, this was made, this article was done 7 hours ago, but I believe this came out a couple of days ago, right, Joe? We shared this around, or was it yesterday we shared this around?
It came out yesterday, I think, during the day, and yes, we did share it around. It's a real shame to see, and obviously we've already lost Wicksteed Park, we've already lost the aquarium. So
there's another zoo that's been affected now as well. I can't remember what it's called at all.
Unfortunately, I can't either.
No, I can't remember.
There's been a third casualty. Yeah.
There's a whole M&D situation up in Scotland as well, isn't there?
Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you think that when Towers and everybody else opens on the 4th, do you think it's going to be enough for these parks? Do you think? How busy do you think? Go on, Sean. Go on, you're right.
No, how busy do you think? Well, I'm thinking they are going to be. It's going to take a while, I think, for people to go. Have build up the confidence to go. They'll start seeing people go, and I think we're already seeing people relaxing a little bit now. The thing with humans is we're very adaptable.
Yeah.
We adapted to the lockdown very, very quickly, and we'll start adapting
ridiculously
back to normality.
quickly.
Yeah, ridiculously quickly. First, it was like, oh, what's going on? So I think we'll adapt. But I mean, did you guys? I don't know if it's on the agenda. Sorry if it is, but did you guys see that Blackpool are?
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Yep.
Yeah.
So
We'll
hold that for later on in the podcast. But yeah,
I'm just hoping that a lot of other parks do that to try and recoup
I think they
some
will.
of the losses.
I don't think Towers will, but I think they will. Well, I think Towers might, but anyway, we'll cover that a bit later on. But it's a really good point. But yeah, so it shows you that people now who are higher up in the industry are concerned for these little parks, and I think they're trying to be the face for these little parks to the government to say to them, look, we need help. You can't just expect us to just keep going with what we've got now. We need to keep moving. And now I meant to check something before this podcast, but social distancing in New Zealand has completely stopped, correct? Am I right
correct,
with
yeah.
that?
All right. They've
The
completely
theme
dropped
parks in New Zealand. Why haven't we heard anything out of that?
Everywhere, as far as we're aware.
Right,
they've
so
dropped it everywhere.
So are there theme parks in New Zealand? I'm guessing there are.
Oh, very good question. Yeah, I think there are. Yeah,
There must be a couple. If you guys know of any parks, or if you want to Google it and then let us know in the chat.
I'm going to Google one.
Or you want to comment below if you're watching this on playback.
It's a bit like Ireland, how it's crazy that they've got like one major theme park there and one major coaster in the whole country.
So they're definitely open then, because social distancing stops there, and they were like, they've been praised for how they handled all the situation.
Yeah.
So do we think that maybe they're just doing this so they can open, but as soon as that button's pressed on social distancing, it's just going to go back to normal in the theme parks anyway? Or do you think they'll carry on certain things like the online queuing, for example? Like
I think some things are going to stick. Sorry to quick.
No, you're right. You're good.
I think some things are going to stick. What kind of things will or won't stick, I suppose, is up in the air, because the majority of the parks around the world are only just starting to open up. We're going to have to see what kind of effect it has on case rates around the world and stuff. But I definitely think that some things are good. Like some parks are going to see a really significant benefit from a certain few things, such as things like I don't know if you heard about Six Flags trying to do like more like airport security bag check-in, in the sense that you just walk through with your bags, and it gets scanned by a machine or a system, and it means that security employees or team members at the entrance gates don't have to check bags, because they've got machines and systems at the front to.
It's difficult, that is, because
if it's anything like Manchester Airport on a Tuesday morning on a flight out to Ibiza, that ain't going to be fun.
Hell no, definitely not.
I used to, in my old job, that's what I used to do. I used to X-ray packages that were getting sent to other countries, and it's crazy because you get taught how to recognize, like, a bomb or a weapon, but it's amazing the amount of things that look like bombs and aren't. So it's one of them things where, in principle it sounds good, but in packages and parcels, or like just like someone's suitcase, it's fine. But when you start going rummaging through people's bags, everything can look like a bomb, because you're just looking for colors really that connect up to each other. So it's not, I don't see that as being personally as a practical way of doing it, because it will just cause like more queues, I think, and they'd have to have more staff on. So it's a weird one. But as we saw with, I don't know if you saw with SeaWorld, when they were doing all the bag checks there, is they check your bags, but they're not swapping gloves every single time they do it. So
that's a good point.
It's not really, it kind of just seems a bit
counterproductive.
Yeah. I mean, it protects the staff, which matters, I guess. But just not the customers in a way.
I mean, there are so many things that seem like good ideas in theory, but when you think about them logistically, it's like you start finding like holes in operation and stuff, and it's tricky to,
especially for you, Mikhile, because you've got experience in like operating the coasters and stuff. So, being on station, so you're seeing some of these things coming into practice and saying it, and I'm sure you're going, I can't imagine how that's going to work. Or
absolutely,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So, I could, if I'm being completely honest, I couldn't be more glad that I'm not working at a theme park this year. Because I don't know how I would manage a situation like this. I have no idea. There are so many things and so many different suggestions that you can put forward, like I said, that sound like good ideas, but when you actually think about how you're going to do it, it becomes a very tricky situation.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's cool. So, just going back to... Oh, we've got a new subscriber. Coaster Trek, thank you very much. Always throws me off when that thing goes off. But yeah, just going back to the New Zealand parks, I found one. Rainbow's End, it's called. And they have some information on their website. It's pretty cool, this. So, it says limited days, no external food, contact tracing. Keep your digital diary of your visit by scanning the contact tracing QR code at the front gate. Simply open your phone camera and point the lens at the code. To protect your privacy, tracing information is kept for 21 days only. So there's different QR codes throughout the park. So you're constantly checking. That could be something we could see all over the place over here. There is nothing about social distancing. There is stuff about we have a high rotation of cleaning schedules in high traffic, high touched areas for regular disinfections of shared services and all this stuff. Follow the level 1 golden rule, including staying at home if you feel unwell, all that stuff. But yeah, it's literally nothing about it. So
I'll have to talk to my friend, because he lives in New Zealand at the minute, and he's been on the basically doing the bungee jumps.
Oh yeah.
So that's what he helps out. That's his job. He basically helps people, like, harness up the people to do the bungee jumps and stuff. So that's kind of reminded me. I need to check in with him and see what's going on with them, because if they're now just going open with the bungee jumps, that's a very close contact you need to
oh
do
yeah
that.
yeah
oh,
you know what I mean?
big time.
So, and that's going to be all tourism based as well, isn't it, really?
Sure, definitely.
So I'll check in with him, because that's interesting.
But it's cool to see. I mean, I can't wait to see that on Alton Towers website, to be fair. Nothing about social distancing would be amazing to see.
I mean, at the end of the day, you look at the way that New Zealand have handled the whole situation. There is so much that our government could have learned from those guys, and actually, in terms of the way they've handled that situation, and the fact that things haven't gone the way they should have done really over here, just it's not good. So, hopefully at some point we'll see a return to some sort of normality, but I think it's just going to take that bit of extra time, unfortunately.
I think if we want to ride, guys, what Blackpool Pleasure Beach have said: mask up and get on. that is pretty much what it's going to be.
Put your mask on and get on with it.
I think moving forward with our parks, I think the one thing, one of the main things to just keep in mind is just, the more we as park goers, just respect the situation and understand the circumstances in which these parks are having to open, and just follow 100%. These very, very basic rules that are being put into place. The quicker we're going to get back to some kind of normalcy within the next several months and stuff. But when you have people, obviously not trying to put it out there that anybody's doing this, because I don't know, because I'm not out of the parks, but when you have people that are openly refusing to wear masks, refusing to social distance, kicking off and having a go at team members and employees because lines are longer than expected, they're having to wait longer to get food and stuff. It's just creating a more hostile situation than is necessary for no apparent reason. You're giving yourself a bad day, and you're putting the health and potentially lives of other people around you at risk. So
I think that's the problem, isn't it? Because it's like, I mean, we've all seen it, and I'm sure you've experienced it, Mikhile. It's like the amount of times we've seen a parent kicking off because their kid's too small, and it's like, it's for their sake. Like, that's just common sense, but I guess not everyone has got that in a way, in terms of it's for your safety.
Yeah, common sense is no longer common, bro.
But talking about that, what surprised me earlier, I was driving home earlier, and they've got this. I mean, it's been everywhere, but there's this massive tanker that's coming through. That's with oxygen. It's absolutely massive. It's a wide load, and the police have to cordon off the road.
Oh wow!
And I kid you not, I was coming down to this island, and half of my town was like standing there with the phones all next to each other, no masks, brollies as well, because it was tipping it down.
Yeah,
and it's just like they're just standing there waiting for this truck to go past, and it's just like there wasn't just respecting any social distancing. So I don't know, but I tend to think, I hope that the type of people who will want to go to parks will be a little bit more thoughtful.
Yeah,
you'd think, wouldn't you?
So.
Yeah.
So.
We need some fun.
We do.
But we need some safe fun as well. So, guys, if you're feeling unwell, do not turn up to a park.
Nope.
Wait.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely not.
And if you're feeling well, just do what you feel comfortable with. Wear a mask if you want to wear one. Don't wear one if you don't want to wear one. If you don't have to wear one. I think at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, you're going to be expected to wear one on rides. They're saying in that BBC News thing that they did, where people tend to scream. So, I mean, you could scream on anything, to be fair. You could scream in the queue. You're going to have to wear a mask. So.
2-hour wait, no!
Yeah, I'm back there in Bispen queuing up for the big one.
I kind of just feel like with Blackpool, the rides and the pathways are a lot more packed in than, say, somewhere like Alton Towers, where there's a lot more open space. So where Alton Towers have made it optional to wear masks because of the sheer size of the place, I kind of feel like somewhere like Blackpool, that's a lot more closed in a lot more areas of the park, there would be, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they saw necessity of wearing masks there.
Yeah.
Everyone's asking in the chat, what's the first ride I'm going to go on? Guys, I'm going straight to Towers Trading, because that place on the way out is going to be rammed.
Yeah, true.
That's where I'm going straight to, and then I'm going straight to Wickerman, and then Nemesis, and I'm doing that way. Skyride's going to be interesting.
I can't see it running.
Do you reckon? Really?
I can't do because
Is that why they open the gardens so they get your fitness in and get ready to walk the gardens before we open the park?
Giving everyone a warm up first.
Yeah,
before they
everyone get up to 20,000 steps a day in about 3 hours.
Yeah. I can't see it running just because when it stops, people think it's broke down. It's only because someone's getting on with a pushchair or someone's getting on with a wheelchair, but they have to stop it. So I just if they're having to clean it like they are the rides, like if they're cleaning all the rides every now and again,
good point.
How are they going to be able to do that?
It's going to take forever, isn't it?
And it's just going to take forever. So I think they'll probably not run it this season. Personally, I hope they do because I love the Sky Ride, but I just can't see it. I mean, it doesn't open till like normally 1 o'clock these days anyway. So
yeah.
Why is that? I've never known that.
Late rise. I don't know. It takes a while to warm up or something. I don't know what it is with the Sky Ride. I never get it.
I never understood that.
I went.
Cutting still.
Yeah, but it could be. I went once and I was ERT and I got on the Sky Ride. How about that? I went straight over to Forbidden Valley from Tower Street.
That's right.
How crazy is that? Yeah, but I got on it and there was like, the Sky Ride's open, and I just went over.
Danny from Theme Park Family in the chat actually just says, spoke to my mate at Alton Towers, Sky Ride's not opening. So
I just saw that.
Looks like that's a no-go this season.
Right, well, that's me taking a segue.
Well, after this lockdown, we all need a good walk, so it's fine.
That was a fair point.
I've got about 12 stone to burn off, so I need to get
12. I've got 12 chins I need to get rid of. Start vlogging.
Do us a favour.
Hey.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, but the problem is though, when Woodcutters is at the other end, I'll still be having nachos when I get there. So have we got anything from the chat you guys have seen or anything that you want to talk about quickly?
Actually, Frill6 pointed out a really good thing on this. Is Drake Manor Park and Zoo haven't done anything yet. It's not only them, to be fair, actually. It's the likes of Polton's Park, like Water Valley. So
no. Polton's Park are taking tickets now. You can order tickets to go.
Right, fantastic. That was slipped through my net. So I do.
That was yesterday.
They were the first to announce they had the virtual queuing on their apps. They were, which is interesting because the people who are doing that is the people who make the apps for Alton Towers and Thorpe Park and Chessington. So inbuilt in the app already is the ability to do virtual queuing. It's just whether or not they activate.
I really hope so. I can't wait for that. Yeah. I really can't because I want to see what it's like, and it'd be good for the vlog as well. Like, okay, we've waited now. What happens? So then we go because it'd be good to see that kind of thing.
Well, they have got that ability because at Scarefest last year, we booked all our scare mazes on the app itself and just showed the information to app, then it scanned it. And also the dungeons, you could just buy it on the app. So they have got the ability to do it. It's like I think I said last week, though, the only problem is just especially with Alton Towers as well, is they have a lot of dead spots. So it's that really. It's whether or not, I don't know if it's because of how many people's there, but when we did the gardens, we still had trouble with 4G and the Wi-Fi.
I think it was Sean Sandbrook posting to Instagram every 5 seconds. And everybody else who was there. There was a lot of YouTubers there.
We've got some content, go.
Yeah, let's go. That's what I'm going to be like on the 4th. Yeah. I'm even vlogging my bike ride up there, my motorcycle ride up there, my GoPro. Do everything.
Talking about the vloggers, though, that was interesting. I don't know if you guys caught it, but the whole thing with Universal, how after 3 days, they got rid of all the social distancing markers within Hagrid's ride, and there was actually a footage of someone had posted of a staff member saying, fill up all the gaps, all the spaces, fill it up. And someone was just like, and that's mental. It's like, oh, now all the vloggers have gone, we're going to just get rid of all the social distancing. It really surprised me.
There was also
literally, oh, sorry, go on, Joe.
Sorry, mate. I was going to say there was a picture of Rip Ride Rocket with people literally in every seat that came out a couple of days after that as well. So, yeah.
To the park's defense, Hagrid's was a one-off from what I've seen. And the social distancing markers, apparently they wear away really easily, but they should, without any shadow of a doubt, be changing them every day
well,
if that's what happens.
Universal responded to the tweet and said, "Oh, because obviously it's a moving station. It keeps on moving through. People don't spend time in there." And I can say from experience, I did it twice. You do get caught up in that end room, and you do stay in there for quite a while. You're slowly moving through, so it doesn't really explain it. And plus, that's something I thought as well. I've not really looked into, but it's a moving station. But if are they wiping down the rides, because they'd have to keep stopping the station. So it's an interesting one, really. But
I think they might. Well, from what I've seen, they've got 2 ops on either side, and one's spraying, one's wiping, and they're doing it incrementally as well. Is that the right word to use? Yeah. So every so often they're cleaning the rides, and if someone's been spotted on the CCTV without a mask on, especially on Mako, they wipe that row down. So that's what they're doing. But it's all ifs and buts, right? So
I think in terms of a Universal, I love the park and a lot of the staff are very nice. But the thing is, there's a lot of problems for me in terms of when they have congestion in there. The staff lose it very easily, because when we went, the first thing we did was went to Hagrid's,
obviously,
and we went there because what they do is, this is something, if someone goes to Universal, if they're trying to sell you tickets to get in the park an hour earlier, I wouldn't probably do it, because you can only get into Universal Studios, you can't get into Islands of Adventure. So what we did was queue up for the actual Hogwarts Express, get the Hogwarts Express over, but then they had a rope across the station, so we couldn't get out for about 20 minutes while we saw all the other people who had queued up outside get let in and run up. And then we were like, guys, can we just get past? And they were just shouting at us, basically. So I don't know, that was the one bad experience I had at Universal. But I don't know, so things like that normally tell you that there's something deeper going on in management rather than the staff themselves.
Well, it's interesting when you take into account the timing as well. Like you say, you went in March 2019, right? Like
this year.
Oh, March this year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I only waiting about half an hour, so it wasn't even when it was getting the crazy 4-hour queues. It was just that first rush of the day, which they must experience every day. But the staff were just like losing it.
I'm right in saying that PA do that with China, don't they? The China area, they stop you from going in until a certain time. I think it's about 11 o'clock or something. Usually on a weekday, they stop you from going in.
Yeah, I think I've heard they have staggered openings.
Yeah.
I didn't experience that, but we went on a very quiet. We went in like September, so I could imagine in the summer they probably do that to just
But what's funny about that is that used to be a Universal park.
Yeah, way back in the day it did.
Yeah. So it's kind of like maybe it's just something that's stuck around, and maybe it's something to do with Universal. But I know from what I've seen on vlogs as well, the pinch points in that park, you've got these nice, vast, open, massive areas with like outlets and all that kind of stuff, and then you to get you immersed into the area, they kind of put you into like a small area and then like explode the theming in front of you, so it like kind of just poof, it shocks you. It's like that shock feel when
I know what you mean, and the problem is, I'm glad that we probably saw the pictures of the new locker system they're putting at the Forbidden Journey, because in Forbidden Journey,
I've not actually seen that.
They're building they've started construction a brand new locker system outside the Hogwarts castle, because before it was like you walked under into the rocks and it would be on your immediate right, but it was just so ridiculously busy that you just
so small.
It was so small, and it was just like everyone.
Yes, I've seen it now. Yeah, and they're lining people up now as well, and the queue for that is bigger than the ride at some points, I've heard.
Yeah.
Is that right? Am I on the right? Yeah, I think I'm on the right. Same thing as you guys.
Are they? Does anyone know if they're getting rid of like the single rider queues at Universal? Because that was a big plus point for me, was the fact that I had single rider.
They're not using them at the moment. At least for Forbidden Journey, I don't think. As far as I'm aware,
because they got like some of them were like, even when we went, was like 2-hour queues for Forbidden Journey, but then the single rider queue was like you won't walk straight on the ride.
How many single rider queues was there? Because I need to know this because my missus isn't fond of rides that much. So single rider queues is going to be a big.
There's one for Escape from Gringotts as well in Diagon Alley. I've used that one.
Are they quite well outlined, or do you have to like know where they are?
No, I think because
they're pretty well.
They are, but I think in terms of like because everything in like that, especially with the Harry Potter stuff, is so well themed. I guess if you have to, you could easily miss it if you didn't like because we missed it the first time.
Don't wave a wand at it. Oh, no, single rider don't exist today.
You have to borrow them interactive wands to activate it.
There it is.
Buy the $50 one first.
Incredible Hulk has a single rider.
Nice.
Ride Rocket
does Mako have one? That's SeaWorld, isn't it?
That's SeaWorld. Rip Ride Rocket didn't when we went there. That doesn't have one.
Does it not?
Went there. Not anymore. No, it might have.
They must have gotten rid of it because I last time I went was 2017 and I used the single rider line for that was my last ride of the day there actually.
Oh man, I can't wait to go.
That is an underrated ride. I don't get why people hate that ride.
I very much agree.
That's such a great ride, Rip Ride Rocket.
Hollywood,
it looks great.
It's so
What
good.
are the restraints like? Did they pin you like? Was it G-Force?
They're not great. They are. Yeah, they're like G. Did you ever do G-Force at Drayton Manor?
Yes.
Thankfully not.
the problem with it is it's the same sort of thing where like just put it on they don't pin you in it. They don't purposely do that to you. But if you put it on just like normally, and then when you go up that vertical lift hill, it tends to fall back on you, and then it's hard to breathe then. So yeah, that is a negative. But at the same time, if you know that and you don't do it, it's just nice being kind of free.
Yeah. Some nice airtime.
I actually didn't think the restraints were that bad personally.
Yeah, I was only happy. I did it about 5 times when I went there because it was pretty much walk on. But I only had one situation where it was a little bit too. I'd had a few drinks to be honest, and I just kind of forgot.
Too much bottle of beer, right?
It was the Mardi Gras. So we did the.
Oh my god!
That was amazing.
I really want to see the Mardi Gras.
Did you throw the beads on the trees?
We got so many beads. But they did these amazing cocktails that you could buy, and they were so strong, ridiculous. But we got really drunk, and then went on a night ride and Ride Rocket like 3 times.
Oh man, night ride,
mate, so good.
Nice. That sounds. Yeah, there's no way on earth.
So good.
Theme park family that I won't be going to, I will definitely be going to Busch Gardens if I'm going to Florida. That's definitely happening.
But just I would say I really overhyped the Incredible Hulk in my head, and it really disappointed me. So I think if you go in there not overhyping it.
What's it like compared to Dragon Con, excluding the launch?
I prefer Hulk personally.
I would prefer Hulk because I don't really like Dragon Con. I find it incredibly rough now.
Really?
Yeah, I do. My missus doesn't. It's one of them weird things, isn't it? Where
you was talking about this earlier.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, but I found Dragon Con not enjoyable at all. But at the same time, with Incredible Hulk, the launch is really cool, but the second half, I just found a bit like I like airtime.
It does peter out a bit in the second half.
Yeah, it does a little bit.
A lot of old B&Ms do though, don't they?
I don't know. I like the intensity.
Unless they've got interlocking corkscrews, that's how they finish.
the thing about Hulk with me, what makes it better than Dragon Con and then better than Kumba at Busch Gardens as well. It's just it starts off so yeah. Well, I mean, depending on who you ask. A lot of people think Kumba's better. I personally
no, you know what? So Wolf, me and sorry, Mikhile, but me and Wolf were talking about this, and he says people who have been there have said that Kumba is a bit of it's overhyped a little as well. So
it's a thing about coasters, though, isn't it?
Maybe it's just a Florida thing, like because it's
so
such a
subjective. I think it's that sort of thing, and
but
it's
you know,
like when you make. Sorry, go on, mate.
Do you not think it's like a Florida thing, though? Because it's where it is. It's like a premium place for coasters, right? And then anything they build there, like even Icebreaker, doesn't look amazing, but it looks so cool to ride. It's like
the thing with Florida, I think it's not really. It's now we're getting like things like Iron Gwazi, and we're getting the new Jurassic Coaster, and we're getting better rides, but historically, there's better places to go for coasters.
Yeah,
especially in America. Like it's going to be different now. But
I think with Florida, it's like Florida, as I would say, in terms of theme parks, quite easily has the biggest influx of just normal tourists as opposed to enthusiasts. So
I see that.
A lot of international tourists are going to go over there,
like
maybe
me.
from maybe from countries like here that don't have rides and coasters on that scale. See like the kind of coasters a place like Busch Gardens or a place like SeaWorld has, and or even Universal in the case of Hulk, and now you know who on the other side of the lagoon. They're gonna see gonna see the size and scale of those and hype those up. But I mean, I think certain parks do get overhyped over others in Florida. And I mean, Bush Tampa does have its share of fanboys as well. And
I think it goes back to a lot of people go to these parks. I'm not in this category because our family never had money to go to, like, Florida and things like that. But a lot of people go when they're younger, and it's maybe their introduction to rides, so they have that novelty factor. Not that novelty, nostalgia factor.
It was mine. It was mine.
Wow, lucky guy.
I went to Florida first time when I was 11, and it like the biggest coaster I'd seen at the time was Nemesis.
Oh wow, my god. Yeah, exactly that.
You'll remember that mind-blowing moment, won't you?
It's like when you see Oblivion for the first time. It's like, what the? It's massive.
Yeah.
Oblivion still gets me, when you turn around that corner and you look at it, you think, wow.
The best, exactly. The best coaster I did for me anyway, when I went to Orlando was Mind Blower at Fun Spot.
Really?
Oh,
I'm looking forward to that.
Really bad.
That blew me away.
It looks so good.
It was so good, and it was like honestly the best one I did. Out of all of them. But that's because that's my personal taste though, because I love Woodies, and I love kind of
now you said you like floaty rides, so I'm guessing there's a lot of their time on that.
I like both. I like intense rides where it's not, where you got that nice little in between where it's like it's whippy, but it's not like Grand National,
a bit like the Smiler,
like aggressive.
Yeah,
it's a bit like the
Smiler,
Smiler,
it's
right?
aggressive, but it doesn't give you a headache afterwards. That's the problem with me when I did Incredible Hulk. For me, was for me every time I did it, it gave me a headache, and I've never had that from any coaster I've done.
Wow.
So Sean, have you been to any other areas of the United States and not just Florida?
That was my first time I'd ever been to America. So
I've been on the New York coaster. Big up the Togo.
That's cool, man.
Well, it wasn't as bad. It was too to be fair, the first two drops are really good, and then it just goes downhill from there, literally. But the view.
Yeah,
the view pays for the ride. Basically, that's how it gets people on, is the view and where it is, because you got the MGM directly right in front of you, and you can see like this whole history of the strip there, Vegas Strip. Vegas is awesome, guys. Even if I don't gamble, I don't go to clubs and stuff like that. So going to Vegas was strange for me the first time. I used a couple of slot machines and I won a little bit of money, but I didn't go out my way to play card games and stuff like that. I just the place is different than what you think. And cheap plug there. I have a travel blog coming up on our website about my trip to Las Vegas and everything that you can do there, coming up soon on CoasterGen.com. So make sure you check that out soon. A little bit of a cheeky plug there. But no, Vegas is really cool. Like the Adventure Dome's good as well. There's so much to do. I could go back and do so much more. Like, it's crazy. I've been twice as well.
To be fair, I'd settle for just going once, because I've been to New York itself, but that's literally the only place I've been.
Oh, so, if I went to New York, I'd have to go to Hershey Park, I think.
Yeah.
It's pretty close, I believe. And speaking of Hershey Park, the opening of Candemonium on July the 3rd. So Candemonium is going to open. So on July the 3rd, when we're all waiting to go to Alton Towers, because they'll be behind us, on July the 4th, we're probably going to get some nice POVs and some nice vlogs
that
coming out
looks
of Candemonium.
tasty. That does, honestly.
Really?
It looks
honestly,
so quick.
when they released the name, I was like, oh, this is going to be trash.
Did you
And
see
then I
our
saw
parody
it.
coasters, John? Did you see our parody coaster?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't seen
Aero.
it, no.
You not seen it? Aero.
No,
Mint.
not seen it.
Yeah,
I need to check that out.
Oh, one of my friends with Cucumber, he's been on he's been in CoasterGen for a while in the background, and he made the track layout, and I was just like, you know what, I'm going to turn it into a chocolate coaster and turn it into an Aero mint bar. Just to parody our Candemonium. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It did so well, and it actually made the No Limits 2 roundup that week as well.
That's so cool.
Which is really funny. But yeah, if you've not checked out Aero, the B&M hyper there on our channel, make sure you check it out. It's just absolutely rapid, and that's the whole point of Candemonium. I think it's just so quick. Like on the turnaround, it makes Shambhala look like it's really slow.
Do you think because obviously like, when we're seeing testing, we're seeing it they're testing all different types of speeds, aren't they, and things.
Yes.
So what do you think? I don't know. It's going to be until we see it open.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what it looks like, really. But it does look like it's going to nail Shambhala.
Well, I remember
like Mako
watching
2.0 to me.
Yeah, exactly. I was watching
Yes.
Shambhala on the day before it opened from my hotel window, testing the final tests, and they took it up to the top and they stopped it, and then they were judging for maybe 7 or 8 runs how fast to push it over the hill, because obviously if you've been on it, you know that you do hang a little bit on the front. And that's because they hold it to push you over, so you make the next hill at the perfect speed for the perfect time. It's really clever. Yeah,
That's
it's so clever.
When I did Shambhala, because obviously it's one of them coasters that everyone is just like, it's amazing. I wanted to not like it just for that reason. And
It's
begrudgingly
too
it become
floaty.
You want it to be controversial.
Yeah, begrudgingly it become my favourite coaster I've done so far. But I was like, I still don't like to admit it because I'm like, everyone just thinks I'm just joining the bandwagon. But generally, I love that.
That was like me with my favorite. So my number one coaster at the moment is Lightning Rod at Dollywood.
Oh man, get out the chat. Jealous. I'm now a Mikhile hater. He's been on like that's bucket list park. Dollywood, man.
That's my
But like I am before that, you're gonna hate me even more for this. Before that, my number one was actually Fury 325.
No. But, Luke has left the channel.
So I rode Lightning Rod, and I was just like, naturally, I was just like, what the hell just happened?
Was that real?
What is this absolute monster? And I didn't want to admit it to myself at first. I was just like, did that just destroy Fury 325 for me?
Wow,
it took me a while to accept it, because I was like, I love Fury so much. I don't want to accept that something could be, so much better than it. And not even like it's like that much better than it, but I couldn't believe what I just ridden in Lightning Rod. But eventually I was just like, I can't hide from it anymore. Like, this is my number one coaster.
It's that thing when you come off it and you almost feel like this should be illegal when you find that coaster that just makes you feel that good.
Yeah,
that was kind of my experience with Shambhala and Untamed.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what shocked me with Shambhala? After the splashdown and it goes up and then it does a little double down. But the last drop on that double down before it goes into the mid-course break run, well, you call it a mid-course, it's kind of near the end, but that is a big drop. That drops down very far. And if you're on the back, that actual bit of it, because it's actually a steeper drop than most of the other of the ride, because it's so parabolic and drops you off at the end on a steep angle, it throws you out your seat. You almost get ejector on that on the back row as you go over that hill. Just the one before the mid-course break run. It's so good. And the little bunny hop as well after the ampersand turn as well is just awesome. That little bunny hop, it's so cool. Yeah. Like a 70-mile-an-hour bunny hop. Whoop, it's crazy.
Well, Jo is like my missus. She's scared of heights, so she always does coasters. She manages to get over it, and she was so scared to do Shambhala because obviously it's the biggest coaster she's ever done. And she did it once, and she couldn't get enough of it. So it kind of shows you how good it is when it's just like, I'm afraid of heights, but that was so good. I'm going to just keep on doing it again.
I mean, you've got to admit the views from one of the things I always go on about. From the top of Shambhala is just incredible. You got all the golf courses and Salou, and all that stuff. You got Rias behind. Oh, it's amazing. It's
so
incredible. Nice. It is.
Except for when the sun's right in your eyes on the lift hill. That's
you
have to close your eyes and it's like piercing your eyelids still. You're like, oh
yeah. I need to get some straps for my sunglasses because I really struggle with that, especially on Oblivion. Like really? You get on Oblivion in the morning and it's a sunny day, you're gonna get sun blind as you go to the top of the lift hill. I don't look down. I can't even see.
Anywhere in the UK, I just take it because I'm just like, thank you that the sun's come out.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point. Yeah.
What I need on Shambhala is a sunset ride. I need to see the sun setting on the horizon of the water as I'm going down that first drop.
I can smell the sun cream when you said that. I can smell it. I can smell holidays when you say sunrise, sunset ride on Shambhala. That is crazy, guys. We've nearly got an hour. We've not even touched on half of our subjects.
Not even got into the main bulk of this episode.
That is crazy. All right, let's try it. Should we move on to our ideas about Disney and what could come out of Disney next then? Like, what do we think Disney could do with their track systems next? Obviously, probably, Sean, you're best off telling us with being on Rise of Resistance there, the trackless ride system. What do you think could come next out of that?
Well, obviously, when I went back in, it's like late February, early March, I went. So I got to do Rise of Resistance, which was amazing. I'll come back to it. But I also was there for the opening day of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which is their new trackless dark ride in studios as well.
That looks really cool.
Mate, it was so good. It was for me, even though it's like more of a kiddie thing, but like if you like Disney, it's so good, especially with Mickey. Like I grew up with like Mickey and Donald Duck
Goofy
and stuff like that, and Goofy. Like it was incredible because like with I won't go too much into it, but with the Runaway Railway, the projection mapping in that is just unreal.
What they've done with that and the way they make things move around and change scenes, it just looks absolutely insane.
It was just so clever the way they did, because that's a trackless system.
Yes, we do, Dan. We'll pick up on it in about 5 minutes. Let's talk about that.
But the thing is, the amazing thing with that is they start it off as it just feels like an actual train. So you're all in line, and you've got Goofy operating it, and he opens up a little hatch and he talks to you, and then Mickey and Minnie, they pull a lever and then you just split off from it.
Yeah, and then it changes into like different cars in directions. Yeah.
It's crazy, and it's just it's so insane.
It looks so well done.
It's so well done, and it's so in keeping. Like that's what that park needed in terms of they had the Galaxy's Edge, but then they needed something that was like going to keep it Disney still in a way, and I think they nailed it with that.
That's so clever.
It was so well done.
Haven't they made some new Mickey Mouse shorts to go with?
Yes, they did. Yeah, in the cinema bit, you can go because I've got the new, actually the new. If you're into Disney and stuff, the new Mickey Mouse cartoons are actually really funny because they're like, if anyone watched Adventure Time, they're on that level where it's kind of like, really? In terms of, they've got a bit of adult humor in it, but disguised so it's like kids don't really get it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
go over kids' heads.
Goes over kids' heads in a way. It's really funny.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, it's quite good. It's entertaining, and they're short as well. They're all very, very short.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that. But obviously, with what I was going to say with what the direction they're going to go with the new systems is with Rise of Resistance. Sorry if this is going to be a spoiler for anyone who hasn't done it. Maybe mute for about 10 seconds. But there's the drop section in the ride and Rise of Resistance. So you're obviously going through, and then you go into the escape pods, and it drops you about, I think it's like it's between 10 and 20 foot drop.
Yeah. A bit like 13 then.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and it feels pretty intense as well. But that kind of opens up.
Screen in front of you, right?
yeah. So you feel like you're in an escape pod and you're going through it. But that opens up so many possibilities because obviously with flat rides you can only go with trackless rides you can only go on flat ground. But obviously now we know that now they've figured out that they can go into another little bay, and then that can take over the controls. I mean, that opens up so many possibilities. You know, in the future, we could even see, if you strapped into it and the final way to connect it to we could even see inversions. We could see a trackless ride turning into like a coaster. You never know, because with Rise of Resistance, it's like, you know, 4 rides in one almost. There's so many elements to it, and it's just like, could you imagine having a dark ride that then turns into a proper good coaster?
The opposite, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that would be.
I think what's just so great about Rise of the Resistance is that it tells one long overarching story, but in so many different ways that they've managed to utilize, like you said, Sean, multiple different ride systems within the same attraction to, you know, offer a really multi-dimensional, not to play on the cliche kind of like three-dimensional kind of ride experience or anything, but a really, you know, multi-dimensional, multifaceted kind of ride experience. And doesn't it last like 15 minutes? Like,
well, it's about 20 minutes all in all. It's about 20-minute experience.
Wow.
Because even when you go through the first part of the ride, obviously you see, everyone's seen the pictures of the, you know, when you get onto the ship, and you just, you know, you see all the stormtroopers there, but all the obviously all the members, cast members, they are all interacting with you. They are like telling you, ordering you around. They're telling you where to go. It feels very like convincing, and they're constantly doing that, and it's just like, it's another level. It really is another level. And it's even if someone's not into Star Wars, you will go into it and you will just be completely immersed into this story.
You know what's crazy about that, guys? I've just been doing a bit of quick math there. Quick math. Rise of Resistance, if it's 20 minutes long, is more than all of our coasters in the UK put together, pretty much.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And that's just one ride.
I mean,
and that's why people go to Florida.
Indeed it is, yeah, exactly.
I mean, I suppose it's a little bit unfair to compare it to coasters, because it is more of, it's a dark ride, isn't it? It's an experience rather than a coaster.
Yeah, but still, like, that's a big thing.
But even when you think about like Escape from Gringotts, like that's a coaster. But even that experience like has all the pre-shows and stuff. And that's another thing I was going to say before you guys can take over, is I'd love to see Disney do something with the Intamin, what's it called, the Drive something. It's basically the coaster they made for Gringotts, where it's like, not only is the track's not dropping, but there's elements of the track that is just like moving around while you're on it. And it's just could you imagine a trackless system that goes into, you know, a bay that then takes you on to a kind of a coaster that's like Escape from Gringotts, where things are dropping and the tracks are moving. I think, you know, combine that with, have you guys seen the stunt robots that Disney are testing out at the minute for the Avengers?
Yeah, I have.
Yes, I have. Yeah, on Disney Plus. They were launching some some robot over a net, like into it. That's crazy.
It's gonna be next level, and I think, you know, it's going to be crazy. Imagine all them things combined. Obviously, might be getting ahead of myself. But even a trackless dark system combined with like you know, like Indiana Jones and like dinosaur ride system, where it's like kind of like the. Have you guys? Do you know about them rides where they kind of shift you about while you're going along the track?
Yeah, they simulate the type of like off-roading and things like that, don't they? Yeah. They move you up on, like you're on a platform, and then they like move to go, if you're going up a hill, the right hand side of the vehicle will rise up and the left will drop. It's on the Disney Plus documentaries that does that. Yeah. I mean, someone's just correcting me quickly in the chat, said that's not true. The Ultimate is 6 minutes long.
It's
good point.
It actually is.
Yeah, good point.
Especially if you get a tractor out.
Well, then it's even longer.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's the full experience.
So has anybody else got anything you want to say about the new ride systems that Disney could do? Like, I just want to see some awesome coasters at Disney, you know?
Yeah. Well, like one thing I was going to say just about Rise of the Resistance as well, not to harp on it for too long, but
that's fine, man.
Just the way it so we talked a little bit about the whole experience being, you know, 15 to 20 minutes long and everything. What I feel like one thing that Disney struck gold with is including the queuing experience in the overall experience itself. So one of the ride systems, Sean, you'll know when you go into the resistance pod before you get taken up to the Star Destroyer. That ride system, that rotating shuttle simulator, that is essentially you're still in the queue, aren't you? Because once you get up to the Star Destroyer, like, you know, you're being directed by cast members, that are fully in character, and it really is like you're there, you know, immersed in the situation, immersed in the world that is what it is. But you haven't actually, you know, made it to the main bulk of, you know, the meat and potatoes of the ride yet.
But you're
still in the queue line,
like
which is crazy to me.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's like Merlin have experimented with that. Like John Wardy always wanted that. I mean, you just see the haunted, you know, you see like Jewel, like even when the haunted house opened with that queue line, like it's still immersive. And what they tried to do with Subterra as well, whether you like that ride or not, I really liked it. They tried to do it with that. You know, where they had the actual cast member. Well, they're not cast members at Alton Towers, are they? The staff. But they tried to add that element to it, and it was impressive, and it was that type of thing. So it's like our indie over here. We're trying to do it, but it's just we keep
just not quite getting there.
Yeah. Don't got Disney's budget for it, do we?
Oh no, that's it. Well,
but I mean, good scare mazes though, they don't have much budget, but they immerse you enough.
Like, what was that?
Just walking around.
What was that thing with when they built, you know, the Harry Potter parts? There was a crazy stat, like in the first 6 months or the first year or something, what they spent to make them lands, they earned back just on butterbeer alone or something. You know what I mean? That was the stat. Like, I remember reading it and going, they earned it back.
Yeah. What?
That is insane.
Well, you know what to do, Alton Towers. Sell butterbeer.
I remember seeing queue lines coming out, like streaming out of
that's crazy.
Hogsmeade, all the way out of the front of Islands of Adventure. You know, you saw the articles of like 10-hour queues just to get in the areas and stuff. It was insane.
Yeah, it's mad. But
the Smiler needs a drink. The Smiler should have its own drink. That's the key to it. Yeah. That's its own marmalade.
But that's the thing. Like, I think people, you know, they get very hung up on like, you know, it's got to be an IP. It's got to be an IP. But like some of the most, you know, when I went to Magic Kingdom. You know, the Haunted Mansion was one of the biggest queues. Second to like Peter Pan, but that's got a low 3-pot. But like Haunted Mansion, it's an original IP when it opened. And
so clever that
Caribbean was. And it's just so good. It's so well done, and it doesn't have to be an IP. I think
no, it doesn't.
I've got nothing against IPs. I really don't have anything against IPs. Like some people do, but I don't think if it's a good enough story, and you know, and they incorporate everything into it.
I mean, you only have to look at the likes of the towers for that, you know, with likes of Nemesis and the Smiler and you know, Wicker Man. I mean, those aren't IPs, and yet, you know, the level of attention to detail and how those, you know, particular rides carry their theme, you know, it just says it in itself that obviously an IP is not always very important.
And people slate like
somewhere
towers.
like Phantasialand for that as well.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Even the Swarm, and then you've got Saw on the opposite side of the thing. The Swarm's theming is so much better than Saw's. Like,
I do like Saw though.
Yeah, Saw's great, but in terms of the theming, if you think about it realistically, it's 2 block breaks that hold you and then move you forward, and you just spray air on you. Whereas on the Swarm, you dive down underneath a plane, over an ambulance and a fire truck, through a billboard, back round, and then through a station that's supposed to be a church that's in ruins because of a lot of aliens shooting lasers everywhere. I mean, that's their own IP.
The billboard addition to that was genius.
It was. It was so cool. It was good without it, to be honest with you, but when they put it in, it was so cool when they put it in.
So I just think that
this year. I really am.
The billboard addition to it gave me like, I don't know if anyone plays Fallout, but it gave me the Fallout vibes to
it. Old 50s style.
That's what I loved about the building.
Wasn't Fallout like around the same time as that as well, though? Like it seems
it was when it was kicking off. Definitely, it was getting the traction.
We're on to you, Merlin.
Yes, we know. But I love the fact that, you know, people do, you know, slate Merlin in terms of like their marketing. They always go overboard, but I think it's brilliant, man. It's genius.
I can't help but wonder if the Swarm would have, because I think it's been maybe not documented, but it's kind of common knowledge that Thorpe's attendance numbers didn't really grow when the Swarm was unveiled. I just wonder if it had been, you know, opened or if it had just come to Thorpe a year later, so it wasn't in the same year as the London Olympics.
And we hit the recession. We're going through a recession as well. I just can't help but wonder if a lot more people would have come to the park to see it if it hadn't been in the same year as the London Olympics. Well, I went.
I feel like
I've not been back down since. so it got me down there.
And I've not been down full stop yet.
I'm telling you, Fort Park. To get people down there, you need to build, and they will come. Simple as that.
Indeed.
Build right.
Since day one.
Yeah.
Said it since day one.
Build a new coaster. Stop trying to be something you don't know what you're trying to be. Build a damn coaster. Build a damn RNC or the new GCI upside down inverted coaster. Let's have that, and let's all go down there to Fort Park, spend loads of money on merch, and never go back again for another 5 years until they build another coaster.
And no more flipping flipping bounce Zillas. We're done with that.
Yeah,
buy a coaster already.
I don't understand why though.
I personally enjoyed Bouncilla. I've got to say, I was very skeptical about it, and I went into it ironically, going, "Oh, I'm going to do Bouncilla." I did it, and I was like, "No, it was a bit of fun."
Yeah, that's fine, but you can't go on Bouncilla rewrites, can you? And like you can on the Swarm. And
if you're a vlogger, you can.
If I gave you the choice of Iron Gwazi or Bouncilla, I think I know which one you would choose.
I think
Bouncilla every day, right? Yeah,
Bouncilla every time.
Every time. Ironzilla.
Talking about the marketing side of it, I know we're going off straying a bit.
We have gone on one hell of a tangent right now.
But I keep seeing, you know, when people go, "Oh, the marketing failure of 13," I'm like, no, it was completely the opposite, because that was the most successful marketing campaign at Aston. I was going to say Aston Villa then.
Aston Villa. Aston Villa 1, Fulham 2.
It's the most successful campaign they did. Like the amount of people who went to the park for that coaster, and it was only the enthusiasts that were annoyed by it. General public loved that ride.
Everyone who've ever taken onto 13 absolutely love it. Yeah. Just because it's a shock. If they don't know about it, it's the shock. I mean, even me, it gets me a bit still when you go up that second lift and into the crypt, and you sit there, you think, I'm going to be dropping in a minute.
The drop on that is still way more forceful than Hagrid's.
Wow, really?
Yes,
It's just worth going on to watch everybody else's reactions if you've written
That's what's great about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know it's coming, but they've got no idea.
It's always get one scream at least in that crypt.
At least.
It's why I always think Hex is so rideable, because you go on there, and especially when kids are riding it, and you see their their faces, and they're just like, "What is going on?" And not even kids. I see adults doing it, going like, "What the hell? What's going on?"
You should have seen my 4-year-old's face when he went on that for the first time.
Did he go on Hex?
Oh, he's been on Hex numerous times. He loves it. Absolutely loves it. But his little face, he was just completely blown away by it.
Yeah.
You know, mesmerized, just trying to figure out exactly what was going on. We just, every time now, it's like, I want to go on Hex. I want to go on Hex. So, yeah.
I remember when I first went to Towers, and I went with a group of mates, and they was always like, I went when I was like about 12, the first time. With
about the first time I went as well. Yeah. I went to school.
And they kept saying, like, yeah, Hex is boring, don't go on it, don't go on it. So I didn't go on it for like the first 5 times we went to Towers, and then I finally went on it. Great. And I was like, this is insane. Because I don't know if you guys have done the haunting at Drayton Manor.
I have. Yes.
So I grew up around that park. I was only 10 minutes away from it.
The thing I love about that is the floor. So clever.
Yes,
it's really clever.
And it it's so good. That I love that ride. But
The actors need a bit of a kick up the arse, though.
Well, those are all my mates. That's the thing, because obviously I lived in Tamworth. There was all
it's
my mates.
Your fault, Sean.
They're all a bunch of stoners and going out on the weekend. You know what I mean? Like,
and Aston Villa games, apparently.
Yeah, pretty much. Very Aston Villa heavy town, that one.
But no, yeah, it's clever. Like, yeah, Hex is awesome. Like, Hex is such a good ride.
I love the fact that they incorporate local history into it.
Yeah, that's what got me, because I love documentaries. I mean, I like Time Team and stuff like that. When I saw them like talking on the screen, I was like, whoa, this has got me. It's like Time Team the ride, this. And then we got in there and the story came on and I was like, all right, where's Tony Robinson? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then the story came on, the projector came on, I was like, I'm hooked. I want to know what's going on in here. Then it leads you into that next room, and then there's the witch, and it's just epic. It's just such a good story.
I just want them to get me to go and film the pre-show now, because it needs to be re-recorded in 4K.
Yes. So Alton Tyler, if you listen, you need to do that and get Imascore to redo the soundtrack, but to the same soundtrack. Just make it sound like it's not played on a Nintendo.
And the same voiceover as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
sure. Foster in the chat said Time Team the ride. All of that.
Time Team the ride. Yeah, Tony Robinson. Yeah, the host. Yeah, exactly. Be like the boat river ride at Disney, but Tony Robinson's guiding you around. This is a 14th century castle.
You recently uncovered it with a couple of brushes.
Yeah. We did some geo-fizzing around here. We're going to build a trench right here over Hex. There you go. Garden. Time Team the ride. Got it. That's great. Planet Coaster, that's happening in the park. Love definitely. We got 19 likes on this podcast. That's fantastic. Right, okay. Right, we're gonna push on. Blackpool Pleasure Beach is going to be open until the 13th of December. Discuss.
Hey.
So how good is that?
That's absolutely fantastic. And obviously with the fact that, you can visit the Illuminations and combine a couple of night rides, so you can't go wrong there. Let's just hope we see other parks doing the exact same thing. I really hope we do.
Yeah, I can't wait to ride the big one in Dennis 2.0. That's going to be good in December.
Oh, good God, no!
It's gonna be absolutely crazy. How have you changed your name to CoasterGen? What the heck? In the chat. Yeah, please don't do that. Leave if you're going to be like that, please. Yeah, so it's great that they've done this. Now, is this going to force Merlin's hand and be like, okay, well, we'll open Wicker Man up until November, like the end, like start of December or something, or maybe they'll go to December 5th. Because haven't they got their Oktoberfest thing scheduled as well this year? Towers.
Yeah, that's through September, isn't it? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, Oktoberfest in September.
Well, I mean, the Munich Oktoberfest is, I think it's through September as well, which is odd. I think, if I remember correctly, I think it starts in September, and maybe ends in like mid-October or something.
Yeah, it does. I think it ends literally just before Scarefest is due to commence. So beginning of October, I think, or thereabouts.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But no, it's it'd be cool if a lot of the other parks follow the same thing and obviously opened up later, especially with the fact we've lost so much of the season this year already. It'd be good to do that.
Yeah.
So
I seem to remember that a few parks were supposed to end their season on like the 8th of November this year instead of maybe like the 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah.
I'm sure I remember seeing that at the beginning of the year. But I mean,
carry on, mate.
Oh yeah. No, I was just gonna say I remember seeing that, but I was just gonna ask did Blackpool specify if they're gonna have the park open on weekends up until that date in December, or is it going to be still 5, 6 or 7 days a week?
They've literally just said to the 13th of December, so I'm presuming the way Blackpool are is they will run a full schedule, because they I would like to say they've run a full schedule. I think so, because it's just who Blackpool Pleasure Beach are. They just like to stay open. I mean, you can go and there's nobody in the park and everything's running. It's great.
Yeah, they do.
It's good.
Yeah, they don't ever want to close. It's great. It's gonna be really interesting to see how many people come out for those extra days. Especially, right? especially midweek.
I think it's mostly going to be enthusiasts, I would imagine. I mean, obviously, there's still going to be a lot of GP there, but I would imagine that a lot of the enthusiasts that have obviously, particularly annual pass holders that have lost out on that ride time are going to be wanting to make it up at the back end of the year. So there'll still be a good footfall, at least, even if it is bad weather, I would imagine. Yeah, should be good.
They will.
I hope so. They deserve it.
Yeah, I just want to say sorry to people in the chat for whatever's been going on in the chat. Obviously, I can't monitor it. That's why we have mods. So if you feel like someone needs removing, guys, just yeet them out of the chat. It's fine. But yeah, no, sorry for anybody who's being confused by what's going on in the chat. But we need to address one big thing, guys, is that us enthusiasts can finally have a Christmas do at Velvet Coaster.
Hey,
that'd be sick. That'd be so good.
How good is that going to be?
That's going to be cool.
Christmas jumpers galore.
Yeah, the last day of the season is going to be like a Christmas do, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. That's going to be cool because the first day was like crazy, and then the last day is even as good as the first day was. Man, it's going to be fun.
That'd be such a wholesome way to end this year as well, and this season.
Velvet Coaster Pub, here we come. Yes, Ben. Absolutely. Yeah, we'll be there anyway, definitely.
I was going to say, in terms of like, because we always get every time I ask this question, I go, why doesn't our parks open over winter, or why do they close so early in winter? And people say, oh well, the coasters can't take it, and I'm like, well, there's a lot of places in the world. It's not that, is it? That's the answer I always get, and I think it's just down to the way that the parks are. It's ingrained in, I think, in our country, in the coast industry.
Yeah, I think it is partly that because, from coaster to coaster, they do have their limitations on, the temperatures that they can run at. So like, you take something like a lot of coasters at regional parks in America, for example, they usually stop operating when it gets to below, I wish I knew this in Celsius. I know it in Fahrenheit, but I don't know it in Celsius, around 41 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius. I haven't thought of it, but
when you look at like Effling and Phantasialand,
that was literally what I was about to. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So like those same counterparts over in Phantasialand, Europa, Efteling, they can operate at below freezing temperatures. So I guess I think that's more of a park request in terms of, requesting to the manufacturers what the parameters in which temperatures it can operate at, depending on what kind of events they want to run throughout the year and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm not too clued up on like it, because I know with like the big one, for example, they have like certain different wheels, don't they, for whatever weather they get.
Different.
Is it to do with that in the European parks? They just have more of a choice of different, because obviously some of the wheels, they can be like $2,000 per wheel, can't they? So
well, if we're talking about, I think this is why I think it links back to whether there's a demand for a winter event at a park. If you take a country like Germany, somewhere like Europa Park, and well, just Christmas in Germany is huge in general. So like you think about the most popular parks in Germany, Europa, Phantasialand, there's huge demand for Christmas events there, because Christmas is such a big thing there.
Yeah,
I mean, not to say that it's not a big thing here, but like it's a massive thing in terms of events.
It's like the home of Christmas. Like I went to Bruges last year. I mean, it's Belgium, but I went to Bruges and it was cool. Like just to see how different cultures deal with Christmas. Like it's mental. You're gonna have these. Yeah, you're gonna have those parks in Germany, and I suppose just that area in Europe in general. They're going to be making requests to manufacturers for their coasters to be able to run at that in below freezing cold temperatures to accommodate, to just add to the amount of attractions that they have to offer during those events. And you see the same at certain parks over in the States now. They're offering more winter events. You see more Cedar Fair parks offering more Winterfest events. Canada's Wonderland are doing it. Carowinds down in North Carolina is considering it, if they haven't already. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's down to the park.
Yeah, it's about our parks like trying to this country, they love their old German markets in every city now, doesn't it? And they're packed when you go to the city centres. So if our parks just offered something like that, like these other parks, where it's like, okay, well, in this, we might have a limited ride offering, but we'll run what we can do, but just expect certain rides may not.
Doesn't
but
Helix run at Liseberg in the Christmas event?
I'm not sure.
But Baron definitely runs at Effling over winter. The only thing that doesn't run
Baron
is Flying Dutchman and the Rapids. I think that's
that's understandable because they're all frozen.
Even Python runs,
Wow.
That was runs. And it's like they can do it. So my question is always like, why can't we?
I think it's up to the park's discretion whether to run them or not.
I think it's them. I think it's the park our parks need to rethink our kind of off season. So that's obviously where they do all their maintenance, their main maintenance. So they need to think, I think, across our country, how we redo the maintenance to keep up with these European parks, because all the coaster enthusiasts, they spend their money in Germany. Do you know what I mean? In the winter months. So that could.
It doesn't even have to be like an all throughout winter thing as well. I mean, like Europa Park and Phantasialand, like their winter events, they end in like the middle of January, and then they still have like a month and a half to 2 months, maybe even 2.5 months of off season to do maintenance before opening back up in April.
And
stuff.
But again, it has, for example, Alton Towers got the amount of attendance to justify it.
I want to know what the hotel levels are for the Christmas events they do right now. Like, from last year, I want to know what the hotel events, the capacity.
Well, they charge a lot of money.
Yeah, they do charge a lot of money.
We were looking, because for our wedding, obviously, we were putting our wedding off. We were like, well, we need to do something special for it, like on that date anyway. Mm-hmm. So we looked at prices, and even with our Merlin annual pass,
it's nice.
we're on the premium passes. It's still like 500 quid to stay at Alton Towers Hotel and stuff. And it's just mental. And it's like, well, if we can get a ferry over to Germany, ferry over to France, then we can do a little road trip. Why not? It actually ends up being better value for money if we can go and do that instead.
You could go PA for you could go to Salou for about a week for that.
Exactly. It's just, it's that, isn't it? And
it is that.
With the Christmas events, they're banking on the people who maybe go to Chessington every week with family to actually make a trip to Towers, really.
It's fair.
So I actually went to Portaventura for Christmas. One, not specifically to Portaventura, but we went to Spain for Christmas.
How was the present opening in the morning?
I mean, it was me and my mum in a hotel, so I mean, it was the same as at the house, but it was nice. So cool. Just not as cold. They can. Somewhere like Spain. When I went for Christmas, we were on the beach on Christmas Day.
That's awesome. To even think about that is crazy.
Right.
Man,
we went to Portaventura for Halloween, and it was brilliant.
I've been for Halloween,
it was so good. We did. When was the last time you went for Halloween?
Oh God, 20. It was a while ago. They had REC. That was the latest.
So we did that one last year. But when you went, did they have the water park? Did they turn that into the scare maze? Basically, because when we went last year, they did the event where they turned the entire water park, because it's off season, they don't open it.
Yeah.
They turned it into the biggest scare maze in the world, and it had like over 300 actors in it.
Oh my God, that sounds incredible.
It sounded incredible, and it was themed so well. But the problem is they oversold the event, and it was 4-hour queues to get in. There was literally queues to get into queues to get into queues. There was like three queues. To the point where me and Joe ended up. I don't like paying for fast track if I don't have to, but we got like 1.5 hours in. We'd been drinking their massive beers, lagers all day.
Steins.
The Steins. I was drinking all that, and we was like, I can't take this anymore. It's ridiculous. It was like kettle pen queues as well. So we ended up paying like €10 to get out of the queue. And then we went into it, and we finally got into the scare maze, and it was like just another queue through the scare maze. And we got to the end of the scare maze, and we realized why there was a massive queue, because everyone was queuing up to get a photo with like a scare actor at the end of it. It was the weirdest, but it was insane. It was such a missed opportunity, because they had people going around on jet skis, and them water jet packs.
Mm-hmm.
They had people with them on.
I want to try one of those so bad.
Oh my god, I would kill myself on one of them.
They look amazing.
But it was a missed opportunity because it was legitimately so well themed, but they just oversold the event. But it's typical Porter, isn't it? Portaventura, really.
Yeah, that is so cool. It's such a good idea, though.
It's a good idea, but it's that thing where they had staff members going around the queue and selling fast tracks to people in the queue.
I didn't even know they still queued at PA. I thought that wasn't a thing anymore last time I went. Blinking heck. That was terrible.
That's the thing about Port like I've heard, I don't know if this is, I don't know how true this is, but I have heard that they at times they will run their coasters with like 1 or 2 trains when they could run more, just for the line to get really long, and then people are more inclined to buy fast pass tickets, which is extortion in my opinion. But
one of the things they get people to stay on site, because we don't ever stay on site.
Nah.
One of the pulls to it is that you can buy for however long you're there, you can buy like a fast track for like 60 quid. Well, 60 pounds over here. So you add that onto it. So that means everyone who's staying at the resort are obviously going to have fast tracks, because why wouldn't you for 60 quid?
Yeah, because there's no resort fee in Spain, is there? It's like €4 for a week.
So it gets to the point where the fast track is as big as the normal queue, but what they do is they do one train as fast track, one train as standard queue, one train as fast track, one train as standard queue.
Wow.
And sometimes we even saw them do like 2 trains of fast track just to get through the queue. But luckily we only had that on the weekend. The rest of the week we was there, it was pretty much
just walking around. It's like Towers and Gardens.
Pretty much, yep.
It's really quiet. When it's quiet, it's quiet. When it's busy, they don't even bother going. It's just so busy.
Yeah, we talked about it last week, didn't we? And it's just like, it's hell in that heat as well. You don't want to be, because people are pushing in front of you constantly as well. Like we had it where people were just jumping over the barriers. And
exactly.
What are you doing? And they're just like, they just I don't want to say, but they pretend to not be able to speak English, and then like you're trying to confront them, and you just like, they're just like no, and they just carry on. There'll be like 10 people who just jump over the barrier, and there's no one stopping them. So it's like that sort of thing where you're just like, oh well.
Yeah, I guess it's just something to do. Yeah, but if you did it, it'd be like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's
I can't wait until I have a kid, because I see it all the time at Blackpool where someone just lifts a kid through the queue line above the head. You know, like what I do when I used to go to gigs was, if I want to get to the front, I just hold 2 pints above my head and go, oh, sorry, mate, can I get past? Can I get past? Excuse me. And it seems like,
I always say I'm going to meet my friends up at the front.
Yeah, well, that's, if you have 2 pints, it kind of insinuates that. But I feel like at theme parks over here, people do that, but with kids. Oh, sorry, just bringing her through. Just watch out the way. It's like
our mum's in the front row queue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can imagine that working. That's crazy. All right, quick one. The Born Stuntacular is soft opened at Universal Orlando. It looks incredible. There are spoilers all over YouTube. But guys, we're gonna end the podcast there. We've been going for an hour and a half, and we probably could keep going for another hour and a half, but people have got things to do, I'd imagine. Yeah. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead now and plug all of our stuff. So, Joe, do you want to go ahead and plug Theme Park Insanity, dude?
Indeed, yep. So thank you very much to everybody for joining us this evening. Hope you've had a fantastic time listening to us all debating everything that's happened this week, and obviously the news as well. If you haven't checked out Theme Park Insanity already, please do. You can find us on Facebook at Theme Park TPI Official, rather. We're also on Twitter at TPI 2019 and Instagram at Theme Park Insanity. And we also have a official website, which is www.themeparkinsanity.co.uk. And again, we also have a YouTube channel as well, so feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. But thank you very much, and hope you have a good day. Cheers.
Yep, no worries. Mikhile, do you want to plug your social, your handle?
Yeah, I just got my socials. You'll find me at Mikhile Williams on Facebook and Mind of Mickey 03. Mickey spelled Mikhi on Twitter.
Yep, and the link is in the video description below. And finally, Sean from ParkSpill. Go ahead, dude.
ParkSpill on all social media. So Twitter, YouTube. That's why I chose it, because it's very easy. But yeah, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. But it seems like most of my followers are from this channel anyway, so you probably already subscribed. But it's great to have you guys. And yeah, I'm starting to do a bit of live streaming.
Yeah.
And it's going really well. I'm enjoying it.
You should join us for a couple as well.
Yeah.
What for you for the
Live
when you're on
stream.
your live stream? Yeah. I'm normally in the comments, to be fair, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of them things that I thought was going to be easier than it actually was.
Difficult, isn't it? It's not as easy as it looks, is it? Just to keep rambling on while
no, it's not, man. You got it's like dead. It's like constant dead air, isn't it? Where you got to fill.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on that, we're going to say good night, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in today to the Keep You in the Loop podcast. Obviously, we are CoasterGen. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell, and follow us on all our social media. And for now, I've been Luke. He's been Joe from Theme Park Insanity. He's been Mikhile, the ex-ride-up. And he's been Sean from ParkSpill. And we've been the Keep You in the Loop podcast. Make sure you join our Facebook group as well, guys. Link in the video description below. And we will see you next time. See you later, guys.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.